congratulations for being appointed the charity's first patron. Tell us a little bit about why you're supporting the foundation.
I got involved with the foundation last year when the foundation was looking at how to be the most effective board, how to make a difference, and how to grow and develop the charity. And I came and spoke then and was impressed with the chief exec, the chair, the board, and what you're trying to do. So I was really privileged when you came and said, would I like to be patron? Because, of course, I'm from Gloucester, therefore I support the Cherry and Whites. I'm interested in all the work you're doing to help the health and well-being and the meaningfulness of life for people of all ages, and that's fantastic. And I think not many people know outside the rugby world about the work that you do, and I'd like to be able to broadcast it a little more widely.
So tell us a little bit about Gloucester, some of the challenges that Gloucester's facing at the moment, and from your experiences, what have you seen, and how can the charity and the foundation, how can they help?
Well, Gloucester's an interesting area. Gloucestershire is an interesting area, but Gloucester City itself is interesting because it's made up of several constituent parts. And there's some real areas of deprivation in Gloucestershire, and in Gloucester in particular. And there are lots of organisations that have been working separately to try and make a difference, like the Venture with young families in and around Podsmead, and all sorts of other organisations. And so what we need to do is to work far more together and I see the foundation, this foundation, being a beacon of being able to support and facilitate partnerships where we can come together and make a difference, particularly for some of those people who really don't get a chance in life.
And tell us a little bit about what you think you'll bring to the foundation. How will you kind of help the foundation to ensure its effectiveness, its sustainability, but also its impact?
I think the thing to do is to ask the people who invited me to do it, what is it they expected me to do? But my understanding is, I have a background in chairing boards, in charities, in being effective strategically. And so I am interested in enabling the organisation, the board itself, and the people who work within it to work together and be as strong and as strategic as they can possibly be. Because unless we're flying ahead, as it were, the role of the board is to fly at 30,000 feet, to see the biggest overarching picture and to know when to drop down to 20,000 feet, 10,000 feet, and where to land and walk about. And most boards don't get off the ground. And therefore, part of what I bring is that understanding of how to develop long-term strategies, how to develop partnerships, and how to connect different individuals and different organizations in order that together we make a powerful difference.
Building on that point of making a difference, the rugby club obviously has a role within the city. It has a purpose. It has a responsibility to give back to the city that has supported it for 150 years. Can you just tell us a little bit about why you think the club and the power of the club, why that can make a difference locally?
A friend of mine was recently talking about her grandson who had to go to school to make something about an icon in Gloucestershire, and they looked at a variety of things. And I said, what about Gloucester Rugby? Because it is an icon. They were making papier-mâché things to take to school to say, this is an icon of Gloucester. And so I think it is an icon, and it does make a difference. And it's symbiotic in that, yes, of course, the Gloucester Rugby can give back to the people who support it, but the people who support it are so grateful and proud of what Gloucester Rugby gives to them. The identity, the energy, the pride of place and geography. and that's hugely important. So I think it's something that we could do together.
Final question. Obviously, we're celebrating International Women's Day today. You are, without shadow of a doubt, an inspirational woman of Gloucestershire, somebody who has achieved so much in your life and also passed so much on to others. But can you just tell us a little bit about why it's important that we have this day? Why do we need to continue to shout for women's rights? Why do we need to continue to shout for equality and gender equality? But so if you can just sort of talk a little about the importance of International Women's Day and why it's so significant.
You're a father and you have Father's Day, and your children will draw cards and you might even get breakfast in bed, something special. Mother's Day we have, because mothers are pretty important, and we do the same for mothers. Well, International Women's Day is about recognizing that across the world women are in different places with different opportunities, and some doors are completely closed to women. Not necessarily in this country, but it's certainly in other countries. But there are still challenges for women. And it's about men and women working together to make women's contribution work alongside that of men's contribution, so that together we can make a real difference. So it's important because we stand separately to say this is special. This year's theme is accelerating action. Well, the Equal Pay Act came into being in 1977 in this country. And only now are we talking about accelerating action. Because if you look in professions, in management, in leadership, in all sorts of places, women are still not there and don't have opportunities. In sport as well. And therefore, we have to draw attention to it, but we also have to take time to be proud of how far we've come. We're not at the bottom of the mountain still, we're at least halfway up. There's someone very wise once said, we're not yet where we're going, but we're not now where we were.